January 2026. A perfect storm is brewing on Wall Street. Elon Musk may be planning the boldest and craziest capital restructuring in the history of business. SpaceX might never do a standalone IPO. It might instead reverse merge into Tesla. You heard that right. Not going public, but swallowing. And the person who dropped this bomb is not some random rumor mill. It is Chamath Palihapitiya. He is Silicon Valley's most ruthless king of SPACs. He is also one of the people who understands Musk best and one of the most hardcore Tesla bulls. A few days ago, on a podcast, he said it outright. I do not think SpaceX will go through a traditional IPO. I think it will reverse merge with Tesla. Elon will use this chance to merge his two core assets into one equity structure. He will consolidate his control and power. Why does he dare to say that? Because he understands Musk's ambition, and he understands the backdoors of capital markets. This is not just a simple acquisition. This is the ultimate fusion of the physical and digital worlds. It is Musk's final bet on getting to Mars. Hi everyone, this is Money Stories. Right now, the idea of SpaceX reverse merging into Tesla is only Chamath speculation. Musk has not said anything about it, but the logic loop is so tight that as a small Tesla retail investor, I get fired up just hearing it. I cannot help trying to break it down for you. We will follow this loop. First, we will look at how SpaceX's money printing machine can pump blood into Tesla's AI ambitions. Then we will see what kind of astonishing physical logic the two companies share at the atomic level. Finally, we will dig into how Musk is using Texas law and the new administration's tailwinds to carefully weave a giant web of control. This may be the ultimate bet that could completely rewrite your investment destiny. Let us first put the microscope on the eye of this storm. Tesla, standing at the crossroads of 2026. If you are a long-term Tesla shareholder, your feelings right now are probably very mixed. You might even be a bit anxious. On the surface, Tesla still looks glamorous. The stock price is holding at a high level around $445. Its market cap is close to $1.5 trillion. But if you are a clear-headed investor, you know that the logic supporting this valuation has already been fundamentally swapped out. Today's Wall Street has actually reached a very dangerous yet seductive consensus. Tesla's growth story now has a new name, AI. The current stock price has already priced in a big chunk of the expectation that Tesla will succeed in AI. In other words, people are still willing to give it a PE of several hundred times because they have already pulled forward a lot of future good news. Everyone is betting that it will win. This creates a huge point of tension. Tesla today is in an extremely delicate night before state. We are all waiting for one moment. The moment when Robotaxi is rolled out in a truly meaningful way. Pay attention. I mean real rollout, not a launch event, not a small-scale test. I mean the day when robotaxis are everywhere on the streets and start printing money. Before that day arrives, Tesla is actually fragile because the car business, which used to be the cash cow, is clearly showing signs of fatigue. Cybertruck looks like something from science fiction. But globally, the growth rate of pure EV sales has already slowed. In some quarters, BYD from China has even surpassed Tesla in unit sales. Analysts at Morgan Stanley put it very bluntly. If you only look at selling cars, no matter how many you sell, it cannot justify a trillion-dollar valuation. A big part of the current stock price exists because people believe Tesla is an AI company disguised as a car company. But there is a problem. Doing AI burns money like crazy. It is a money shredder. To push FSD to true level 5 full self-driving, to put a brain into the Optimus robot that can walk into millions of homes, Tesla needs to build exascale level compute. That means it has to pour in tens of billions of dollars every year to buy NVIDIA's most advanced GPUs or to tape out its own Dojo chips. These massive capital expenditures are swallowing Tesla's cash flow like a black hole. On the other side, the money it makes from selling cars is shrinking because of price wars. This is Tesla's awkward position today. The AI story is beautiful. It is already partially reflected in the stock price. But there is still a huge funding gap to bridge before Robotaxi truly lands and starts generating cash. Tesla urgently needs a powerful external ally to support this expensive waiting game before Robotaxi really explodes. And right at this critical moment, the other main character walks onto the stage, SpaceX. If Tesla is going through the pain of transformation right now, then SpaceX in 2026 is in a peak carnival of monetization. Its valuation in the private market has already broken through $800 billion. If it followed the normal path and did a standalone IPO, investment banks estimate it could be valued as high as $1.5 trillion. That means SpaceX is now roughly the same size as Tesla. This is no longer a big fish eating a small fish. This is two dragons merging. SpaceX is not valuable just because it can launch rockets and send people into space. That is a unique skill. But commercially, the launch business is not the most profitable part. The real cash cow, the real money printing machine, is Starlink. By the end of 2025, Starlink's user base has passed 8 million. What does that mean? It means that at any moment on Earth, 8 million people are accessing the internet through Musk's satellites. Its annualized revenue is close to $20 billion. This money is different from car sales. Selling a car is a one-off transaction. You sell the car, the deal is done. But Starlink is subscription-based. It charges monthly. In Wall Street's eyes, this is the perfect business model. It is stable, it is predictable, it is resilient across cycles. No matter how the economy is doing, people cannot live without the internet. Analysts predict that in 2026, Starlink will generate $5 billion in free cash flow. That means SpaceX can fully fund itself. It no longer needs to rely on fundraising just to survive. It is sitting on piles of cash. You could even say it is swimming in money. On one side, you have Tesla, desperate for cash flow and capital to fund compute for AI. On the other side, you have SpaceX with a monopoly position and massive cash flow. The complementarity between their financial statements is almost perfect. Inject Starlink's cash flow into Tesla, and Tesla's funding anxiety for AI R&D is instantly relieved. But if you think this is only about money, you are underestimating Musk. Beyond the complementarity on the financial statements, the truly sexy part of this deal is hidden in the deep physical integration. This is a dimension that many Wall Street analysts, sitting in offices punching numbers into calculators, completely ignore. Let us start from basic material science. We will uncover the mystery of the full fusion from atoms to bits. Have you ever really looked at Tesla's Cybertruck and SpaceX's Starship? Forget the shape for a moment. Have you noticed that the surface texture looks very similar? This is not just a coincidence in appearance. They use almost the same family of stainless steel alloys. At the base layer of material science, the two companies actually share the same materials engineering team. It is led by top expert Dr. Charles Kuhlman. The ultra-hard 30X cold-rolled stainless steel used in Cybertruck and the 301 stainless steel used in Starship are very similar in microstructure and processing characteristics. What does that mean? It means that if the two companies merge, they can unify procurement of special steels, aluminum alloys, and rare metals. This does not just lower costs through massive purchasing scale, it also allows instant reuse of technology. Starship has to withstand extreme temperatures and pressures when it re-enters the atmosphere. The high-temperature alloy technology it has accumulated can be applied directly to the rotors of Tesla's next-generation high-performance motors. And Tesla's experience with large-scale gigacasting in car manufacturing, that famous giga press, can help SpaceX accelerate mass production of Raptor engines. They are structurally identical at the physical level. Now look at manufacturing processes. Musk has recently been pushing a car manufacturing process called the unbox process. Simply put, it breaks the traditional Henry Ford-style assembly line. The car body no longer moves along a conveyor belt. Instead, modules are assembled in parallel and then snapped together like Lego at the end. This is exactly how SpaceX builds rockets. At the Starship base in Texas, workers build rocket sections in parallel. Then they stack them vertically. These two seemingly unrelated industrial giants, cars and rockets, turn out to share the same underlying manufacturing logic. After a merger, engineering teams can move seamlessly between projects. Production equipment can be shared. This is industrial efficiency pushed to the extreme. But this is still not the most explosive part. The most underestimated synergy lies in the ultimate closed loop between Starlink and Robotaxi. Imagine this scenario. In the future, Tesla's Robotaxis operate globally. In big cities like New York, Shanghai, and London, network coverage is not a problem. But Tesla's ambition is global. If you drive into remote countryside, or into a deserted desert highway, or you go on a cross-border road trip and enter a coverage dead zone, what happens if the car loses connection? For a self-driving car, losing connection means it has to stop. It can even mean danger. This is where SpaceX's direct-to-cell Starlink technology comes in. Tesla's latest patents already show that they are working on integrating Starlink's flat panel antennas directly into the car's roof glass. That means every Tesla is not just a vehicle. It is also a mobile Starlink node. It is always online, always connected, no matter where you drive on Earth, even in Antarctica. You can stay on a high-speed connection. This not only solves the safety and communication problem for autonomous driving, it also creates a brand new business model. In the future, if you buy a Tesla, you might not need to pay a telecom carrier for phone service at all, because you are directly a Starlink user. For Tesla, with millions of cars already on the road and potentially tens of millions in the future, this is a massive upsell and service entry point. It will make Tesla's ecosystem almost unbeatable. Do not forget compute. Musk has mentioned the idea of building data centers in space. It sounds like science fiction, but the logic works. Data centers hate heat and consume huge amounts of power. Space is a vacuum and close to absolute zero. It is a natural coolant. Space also has unlimited solar energy. Without an atmosphere blocking sunlight, energy collection is extremely efficient. SpaceX can use Starship's payload capacity to launch specially designed Tesla Dojo supercomputer modules into orbit. They can use the advantages of space to provide AI training for Tesla with almost zero cooling and energy cost. Under a merged company structure, this can realistically happen. This is the power of an integrated Musk economy. Of course, if this were only about business synergies, a strategic partnership agreement between the two companies might be enough. Why bother with such a complex reverse merger? Why risk regulatory investigations? This takes us to the core of the issue. It is also the fundamental reason Chamath dares to make this prediction: Musk's absolute obsession with control. Do not forget how decisive Musk was when he bought Twitter. He did it to control the discourse in the public square. Also, remember that he has publicly expressed unease about his relatively low equity stake in Tesla. He even used the development of AI as leverage to demand more voting power from the board. If SpaceX does a traditional IPO, it will issue new shares. Musk's stake will inevitably be diluted. After listing, SpaceX will need its own independent board and shareholder meetings. Musk will have to deal with regulators for two separate public companies. He will have to face two different groups of shareholders. For a leader with a very authoritarian style, this is a huge constraint. He would become very passive. A reverse merger is a different game. In this plan, Tesla does not buy a shell company. Instead, it issues a large amount of new shares directly to existing SpaceX shareholders. That includes Musk himself, Founders Fund, Fidelity, and others. These new Tesla shares are used to swap for 100% of SpaceX's equity. The math here is critical. SpaceX's valuation is extremely high. It may even be close to Tesla's market cap. After the deal, former SpaceX shareholders will own a huge stake in the new Tesla, especially Musk. He owns about 42% of SpaceX. That is much higher than his stake in Tesla. Through this swap, his stake in the merged company could break through the 25% safety line. It could even go higher. What does that mean? It means Musk will regain absolute say over this trillion-dollar empire. He will no longer be at the mercy of others. He will not have to worry about activist investors pushing him out of the board. He will finally resolve his long-standing anxiety about not having enough control. For a leader with a multi-decade vision like Mars colonization, this kind of control is more important than anything. Because the Mars plan is destined to lose money for a long time, it is destined to be misunderstood by Wall Street. Only with absolute control can he force through these seemingly crazy plans. He will no longer need to flatter analysts for short-term quarterly numbers, because he will hold both the money printing machine and the voting power. But to pull off this kind of left-hand to right-hand transfer at this scale is like dancing in a minefield of law and regulation. You probably remember Tesla's acquisition of SolarCity in 2016. SolarCity was founded by Musk's cousins. It was close to bankruptcy. Musk had Tesla buy it. Shareholders sued, saying this was a related party transaction. They claimed Musk used Tesla shareholders' money to bail out his own investment. Although the Delaware court eventually ruled in Musk's favor, it was a very close call. The lawsuit dragged on for years. This time, SpaceX is 100 times bigger than SolarCity. The amounts involved are in the trillions. The controversy will be 100 times bigger. Some shareholders will definitely jump out and say, "This is Musk diluting our stake just to consolidate his own control." But the situation in 2026 has changed in subtle ways. First, the change of incorporation. This is where Musk's long-term thinking shows. In 2024, after a dispute over his compensation package, Musk moved Tesla's place of incorporation from Delaware to Texas. This is not just a change of geography. Texas has a more business-friendly legal environment. More importantly, it raised the threshold for shareholder lawsuits. Under the new Texas rules, to file a derivative suit, a shareholder must own at least 3% of the company. For a trillion-dollar Tesla, 3% means a position worth tens of billions of dollars. Ordinary retail investors and even most small and mid-sized institutions cannot reach that threshold. In practice, this builds a legal firewall for Musk. You want to sue me. Show me tens of billions of dollars in Tesla stock first. Second, the political climate. We are in 2026, a year of political realignment. With the return of a Trump administration, Musk's relationship with the new government is complicated but full of opportunity. They clashed in 2025, but as Musk accumulated political capital, and as the government's desire to boost U.S. industrial competitiveness and space leadership grew, regulators' attitude toward this mega merger could flip 180 degrees. Under Biden, the FTC and DOJ were extremely tough on big tech mergers. A Trump administration leans more toward traditional business logic, especially if the new government believes that this vertical integration helps consolidate America's space and AI resources. If it helps the U.S. stay ahead of global rivals, if it benefits national security, then the biggest political obstacle to this deal could be cleared. Musk could even package the merger as a flagship of a new American industrial renaissance. Now that the motives are clear and the obstacles might be removed, let us do the math. What does this mean for you, especially if you are a Tesla investor? Should you be excited or should you run? We need to look at this rationally. In a reverse merger, existing Tesla shareholders will definitely face dilution in the short term. This is unavoidable. Tesla will issue a lot of new shares to SpaceX shareholders, so each of your old shares will represent a smaller percentage of the company. The stock price will likely be very volatile in the short term. There will be dilution. There will be concerns about a conglomerate discount. Some investors who only like the pure EV story may exit. Some funds worried about Musk being spread too thin may sell. But if we look further out, if the merger succeeds, your Tesla shares will no longer be just a ticket to a car company. They will become a stake in a monster that spans Earth and Mars. A company that connects physical manufacturing, artificial intelligence, energy networks, and space communications. Next, let us use SOTP, the sum of the parts valuation method, to break down the value of this new company. First, Tesla's side. Even if the car business slows, as long as it can hold the $110 billion in revenue in 2026, and we give it a slightly higher than traditional automaker multiple of 3 times sales, that is $330 billion. Do not forget the energy business. Megapack is now a money printing machine. With $25 billion in revenue, give it 5 times sales. That is another $125 billion. Of course, the big piece is AI. The market is effectively assigning FSD and Optimus a giant option value of more than $800 billion. Now look at the SpaceX side that will be injected. Starlink has $20 billion in annual revenue, and it is almost all cash flow. Giving it 8 times sales is not aggressive. That is $160 billion. The launch business and Starship are a unique monopoly on Earth. With $10 billion in revenue, give it 10 times. That is another $100 billion. We are not done. The Musk premium and technology synergies after the merger are estimated by analysts to be worth at least another $200 billion. Add it all up, and the total valuation easily breaks $1.7 trillion. Before, people thought Tesla's hundreds of times PE was insanely expensive because they only looked at cars. But if you add in SpaceX's real cash flow and high growth, the valuation model changes overnight. In some ways, it even starts to look cheap. More importantly, this is not just a numbers game. Do you want to own a company fighting in a brutal red ocean car market against BYD and Toyota? Or do you want a ticket to a Kardashev Type 2 civilization? As Chamath hinted, this is not just a merger of 2 companies. This is the final unification of the Musk economy. It removes the friction between 2 parallel empires. Capital, talent, and technology can flow freely without barriers. If Musk wants to build a city on Mars in the future, he will need Tesla's solar panels. He will need Tesla's energy storage batteries. He will need Tesla's robots to build houses. He will need SpaceX's ships to transport everything. He will need Starlink for communications. If you keep these 2 companies separate, there will be endless related party transaction reviews and endless commercial negotiations. If they are one company, it is just internal resource allocation. Efficiency will increase exponentially. So my guess is this. In the short term, Musk may keep talking about an IPO. He can use that to discover a price and test the market. He can see what people think SpaceX is worth. But as a final endgame, the probability of a reverse merger is rising exponentially over time. For true long-term thinkers, this might be the only way to participate in humanity's space future. If SpaceX lists independently, institutions will likely grab most of the shares at the start. Retail investors will find it hard to get in. By holding Tesla, you indirectly hold SpaceX. Imagine this. In future Tesla earnings reports, you will not only see car sales, You will see Starlink subscription revenue. You might see transport fees for Mars bases. You might see ticket revenue from space tourism. It sounds crazy, but if you look back at what Musk has done over the past 20 years, which of his projects did not start as crazy and end as a miracle? We will keep tracking every signal in this potential deal of the century. If the stock price drops sharply on rumors and panic, that might be the last window to board this interstellar battleship. Because once the merger is officially announced, this ship may never back up to pick up more passengers. This is not just about money. This is about the grandest industrial epic our generation can witness. It is about whether humanity can cross the threshold of being a single-planet civilization. That is our walkthrough of the 2026 rumors about a Tesla and SpaceX merger. I want to ask you, what do you think of this huge bet? Are you willing to accept short-term dilution in exchange for owning SpaceX's future? Do you think Musk will ultimately choose an IPO or a merger? Tell us in the comments. Every opinion you share could become a record of the future. If you enjoy this kind of deep, hardcore business analysis, do not forget to like and subscribe.